The team at Technology for Hotels knows how busy you are, so we've created this concise briefing to keep you up to date on key happenings in the hotel industry. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the 5-Star Weekly Briefing, your pulse on the hospitality industry.
This week's briefing is brought to you by VTech, the global leader in hospitality telecommunications, providing elegant, antibacterial guest room phones designed for the modern hotel environment.
Yeah, and today is bringing just a massive wave of development news. We are actually starting right here in our own backyard.
It really is. I mean, looking across the Australian pipeline, it feels like the entire eastern seaboard is in this state of, rapid strategic evolution.
Oh, completely. The sheer volume of capital being deployed is remarkable. But what is truly fascinating is how differently each brand is reading the market for the next decade of tourism.
Right, like what's happening up in Queensland right now.
Exactly. TFE Hotels has just finalized this major partnership with Limitless Developments. They're launching the Adina Apartment Hotel, Chermside, Brisbane.
Which is slated for Q2 2026, I believe.
Yep, Q2 2026. It's a 148-key new build, and it's bringing significant infrastructure to the area. We're talking all-day dining, dedicated conferencing facilities, and this really highly advanced, sustainable rainwater harvesting system.
See, I have to challenge the geography on this one a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because when you and I look at major, say, 50 million plus new builds and strategic expansion in Brisbane, the default industry playbook says you target the CBD.
Right.
Or the immediate riverfront.
Right, or South Bank.
Exactly. So pushing a premium new build out to the Chermside Northern Corridor instead of the traditional city center seems like a massive risk. Like, why bypass the premium corporate transient market in the CBD?
It does look risky at first glance until you examine the specific operational landscape and, well, post-pandemic Rev PR stability.
Okay.
There is a deeply documented systemic gap in the upper mid-scale and upscale market in that exact northern corridor.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, it sits adjacent to the Prince Charles Hospital precinct.
Oh, the hospital precinct. Right.
Yeah, and in our industry, when you anchor an asset near a major expanding medical hub, you instantly create a built-in, unshakable baseline of demand.
That makes total sense.
You're servicing visiting medical professionals, outpatient families, long-term recovery stays. Adina's extended stay, apartment-style offering is the exact product the demographic requires.
I see the logic there now. Because the corporate transient market in the CBD, it's still prone to volatility.
Very much so.
But medical and infrastructure demand is essentially recession-proof. You secure a reliable baseline occupancy through the hospital, which inherently de-risks the asset for the developers.
Exactly.
And then, from a timing perspective, they're perfectly positioned ahead of the 2032 Olympics. The games aren't going to be hyper-centralized.
Right. The infrastructure and visitor footprint will spread aggressively across the greater Brisbane suburbs.
So establishing a dominant upper mid-scale foothold in a key northern hub right now is really playing the long game.
It is. It's a highly defensive, yield-focused strategy. But contrast that suburban extended stay play with what is happening just down the coast.
You mean the high-end and as Gold Coast?
Yes. They are finalizing their highly anticipated opening this month, which isn't just another hotel opening.
No, it's huge.
It's a major milestone because it marks the absolute debut of the Andaz brand in the Australian market.
And they're entering the market with serious intent. I mean, they're dropping 202 luxury rooms into the upper floors of the newest Broadbeach Tower.
Right, within the Star Gold Coast Integrated Resort Precinct.
Exactly. What strikes me about this is a brand architecture decision. Hyatt could have easily placed a traditional Grand Hyatt or a standard Regency in that tower, but they chose Andaz.
Which signals a shift.
A highly targeted pivot, yeah, toward the international high-net-worth lifestyle traveler who wants hyper-curated resort-style luxury rather than your traditional cookie-cutter five-star experience.
It is a definitive evolution for the destination. I mean, historically, the global market has viewed the Gold Coast through a very specific lens.
The domestic family holiday.
Right, or the school leaver market, or casual leisure. So bringing an Andaz into the precinct with its emphasis on barrier-free lobbies, local cultural immersion, high-end executive facility.
It changes the vibe completely.
It's a concerted structural effort to elevate the region's standing globally. They're actively chasing a higher ADR by upgrading the destination's overall cachet.
But you can only execute a highly curated premium brand experience like that if your underlying ownership structure gives you the operational agility to make fast decisions.
Which perfectly explains the billion-dollar chess game we are currently watching unfold right behind that new Andaz Tower.
Yes, the ownership structure of the Queen's Wharf Brisbane precinct, and by extension the Star's portfolio, has just undergone a seismic realignment.
The capital repositioning is massive. Far East Consortium, or FEC, and Chow Tai Fook Enterprises, CTFE, are officially acquiring the Star's 50% equity interest in the Destination Brisbane Consortium.
So, if you are an operator on the ground at the Star right now, this asset swap changes your entire reporting structure and strategic outlook. Operationally, what does this divorce actually achieve for the assets?
Well, it provides ultimate clarity, for one, and removes a massive layer of administrative friction. Under this new structure, the Star takes full 100% control of the Star Gold Coast precinct.
Okay, and meanwhile?
Meanwhile, FEC and CTFE take total ownership of the Treasury Hotel in Brisbane. You know, in the integrated resort space, joint ventures are notorious for board-level friction and misaligned capital priorities.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly. By stepping away from the Brisbane asset, the Star can now look at the Gold Coast as a fully unified, wholly owned campus under its sole direction.
Which is critical, right, as they are trying to integrate external luxury brands like the Andaz.
Spot on.
Now, having undivided ownership is certainly one way to protect and streamline a massive asset, but another, arguably much harder route is taking an aging piece of real estate and completely repositioning it without shutting off the cash flow.
You're looking down south to South Australia.
I am. Amora Hotels and Resorts is executing a phenomenal masterclass in asset repositioning right now. They are injecting $73 million to comprehensively transform a landmark Victoria Square property in Adelaide into a flagship 5-star destination by July 2026.
This represents Amora's strategic debut in the South Australian market, driven by the Sirafatrawan family.
Yeah.
They have brought in the prestigious architectural firm Cotty Parker to spearhead the design overhaul. But the critical detail, and every general manager listening will immediately wince at this.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
The site will remain fully operational and open to guests during this entire $73 million transformation.
I'm assuming the complimentary earplugs in the rooms will need to be 5-star quality.
They better be.
Keeping a premium hotel operational during a Cotty Parker designed structural overhaul of that magnitude is basically like changing a commercial airliner's engines mid-flight.
That's a perfect analogy. The sheer logistics are staggering.
You're managing guest satisfaction and mitigating noise complaints, while simultaneously coordinating phased floor closures, isolating HVAC systems so construction dust doesn't flood the executive lounge.
Separating contractor lift access from guest lift access.
Exactly. It requires a level of operational master planning that goes far beyond standard hotel management.
It is a high-wire act, without question. It demands absolute synchronicity between the project management firm and the front-of-house hospitality staff.
Right.
Every single guest touchpoint has to be managed with the upfront acknowledgement that the physical environment is compromised.
So strategically, you have to look at why ownership chooses this painful route.
Right, and if executed correctly, the asset maintains continuous cash flow. But more importantly, it retains its core high-performing staff.
The staff retention piece.
Yes. If you close a property for 2 years to renovate, you have to lay off your entire workforce. When you reopen, you are starting from zero. You have to hire hundreds of people in a tight labor market and rebuild a workplace culture from scratch.
That is incredibly difficult. So staying open keeps the heartbeat and the culture of the hotel alive?
Precisely.
The calculation is that managing noise complaints and comping a few breakfasts is vastly cheaper than the cost of recruiting and training an entirely new workforce in 2 years.
Without a doubt.
Now, while Australia is focused on these highly defensive precinct shifts and carefully managed renovations, the Asian market is operating on a completely different frequency.
Oh, a totally different frequency.
We are seeing sheer volume, aggressive market saturation, and entirely new commercial ecosystems being built overnight.
The velocity in the Asia-Pacific pipeline is genuinely staggering right now. Let's look at the sheer creativity of the joint venture between Centauro Hotels and Resorts and PTT Oil and Retail Business, or OR.
Right.
They have just formalized a $700 million Thai baht joint venture to launch a completely new budget hotel network. Phase 1 will roll out 6 properties built specifically adjacent to BTT service stations across Thailand.
Wait, I have to stop you there because this sounds incredibly counterintuitive for a premium brand. Gas station hotels do not exactly align with our traditional concept of premium hospitality.
Oh, they don't.
Centara is known globally for beautiful beachfront resorts and high-end city hotels. Merging gas station clientele with luxury resort guests under the same corporate umbrella risks seriously diluting Centara's premium brand cachet. How do they ring-fence their luxury tier while operating roadside motels?
It's a completely valid concern. But you have to look past the physical real estate here.
Right.
The physical properties will be distinctly branded to protect the core Centara identity. But beneath the surface, this is a genius data acquisition and customer acquisition cost strategy disguised as a budget hotel rollout.
A data strategy.
Yeah, let's look at the mechanics. Centara holds a 51% stake, providing the operational management. PTTOR holds 49% and provides the raw location infrastructure.
Right, because securing prime high-traffic real estate along Thailand's major transit arteries is prohibitively expensive.
Exactly. By partnering with PTT, Centara instantly bypasses the land acquisition bottleneck. But the masterstroke is the digital integration.
Ah, they are merging the loyalty programs.
Got it. They are fully integrating the Centara One and Blue Plus loyalty programs. By doing this, Centara instantly taps into a combined, highly active 40 million member base.
40 million members.
Yeah. In an era where online travel agencies, the OTAs, are taking 15 to 25% commissions on bookings, owning the direct relationship with the customer is everything.
Wow. They are creating a closed-loop ecosystem where a domestic traveler fuels up their car, buys retail goods, earns points, and books a room for the night.
Exactly. That provides an incredibly cost-effective funnel to eventually cross-sell Centara's more premium properties to a massive new audience, entirely bypassing OTA commissions.
Okay, when you frame it around lowering customer acquisition cost and capturing 40 million direct data profiles, suddenly building budget hotels next to petrol pumps sounds like the smartest commercial real estate deal of the year.
It really does.
Yeah.
And that's just one piece of the Asian expansion puzzle. We're also seeing Marriott International execute a monumental 10-property management agreement with Sun Group in Vietnam.
That's a huge deal.
This deal adds approximately 4,500 keys to the pipeline in a single signature.
And the brand selection within that deal is highly telling, isn't it? It marks the Vietnamese debut of both the W Hotels and Moxy Hotels brands.
Right. Sun Group is undeniably Vietnam's premier destination developer. Seeing Marriott's global CEO, Anthony Capuano, and Sun Group chairman Dang Minh Truong personally sign this agreement underscores how critical Vietnam's rising middle class has become.
And their booming infrastructure, too. The introduction of W and Moxy specifically indicates a sharp pivot away from traditional corporate luxury, targeting a much younger, highly design-conscious lifestyle demographic.
Definitely. And the momentum doesn't stop with Vietnam. Over in the Philippines, IHG Hotels and Resorts has secured a landmark agreement to bring the iconic Intercontinental brand back to Manila by 2032. They're developing a 212-key luxury property right in the heart of the BGC Financial District, partnered with a heavyweight local consortium. There is immense legacy cachet attached to the Intercontinental name in Manila.
So bringing it back specifically to the ultra-modern BGC microeconomy, perfectly marries legacy prestige with new financial capital.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Swiss Bell Hotel International has just formalized a massive Q1 sweep across Indonesia.
Yes, they signed multiple management agreements across 8 key territories in a matter of months. Bali, Batam, Yogyakarta.
What is structurally brilliant about Swiss Bell Hotel's approach here is that they are deploying their full brand architecture simultaneously.
So they aren't just pushing one tier.
No, they are dropping their luxury MUA and Grand Swiss Bell Hotel lines right alongside their mid-scale Swiss Berlin and economy Swiss Bell Express properties.
In the exact same territories.
The exact same territory.
It's a total market saturation strategy, and the back-end efficiencies of that are massive. They aren't just opening isolated hotels, they are creating a centralized operational ecosystem.
Yep, you consolidate back-of-house operations.
Right, you share a single regional director of finance, centralize your food and beverage supply chains to drive down procurement costs, and seamlessly cross-train and promote staff across different brand tiers without them ever having to leave the company.
It creates incredible internal leverage. It dominates the supply chain and the talent pool simultaneously.
We should also bring Singapore into this conversation because it ties perfectly into that lifestyle shift we noted with Marriott in Vietnam.
Good point.
Marriott has just debuted its Tribute portfolio brand in Singapore with the opening of Varel Singapore. It's a boutique 128-room property built on the historic site of the former Selegie Center.
What stands out to me about Varel Singapore is how deeply they committed to the hyper-local lifestyle aesthetic.
Right, they collaborated with the architectural firm FD, but more importantly, they partnered with niche local artisans.
They feature bespoke scent profiles created by Maison 21G and culinary integrations with Denzi Gelato.
For a massive global entity like Marriott to lean so heavily into local boutique partnerships for their tribute portfolio, well, it proves a key industry trend.
Modern guests, even those booking through a massive global loyalty engine for the points, are actively demanding distinct, authentic, community-rooted experiences.
It successfully bridges the gap between the distribution power of a global brand and the soul of an independent boutique.
And those bespoke local touches are exactly how you justify a higher ADR without having to invest in massive, resort-style hard products like sprawling pools or massive convention floors.
Now, all of this aggressive scaling, 4,500 keys in Vietnam, total market saturation in Indonesia, ultra-luxury positioning on the Gold Coast, it isn't speculative.
Not at all.
It is deeply grounded in the raw demographic math that is about to hit the region.
You were referring to the newly released data from PATA, the Pacific Asia Travel Association. They have just published their 2026 to 2028 visitor forecasts, and the headline metric is sobering.
Let's hear it.
PATA predicts that Asia-Pacific tourism will definitively surpass pre-pandemic levels by 2028, reaching an estimated 761.2 million arrivals.
761.2 million arrivals. That is an almost unfathomable volume of human movement. You look at that number, and as an industry leader, your immediate operational panic is how do we physically service 761 million arrivals with a hospitality workforce that has fundamentally shrunk?
Systemic regional labor shortages are the reality.
You cannot simply hire your way out of a demand curve that steep. The only viable bridge between that arrival volume and our current staffing realities is technology.
Which brings us to the most critical piece of tech data released this week. Canary Technologies has published a comprehensive global research study titled Navigating AI: Hospitality Shifts from Exploration to Execution.
That subtitle is the key takeaway for every operator listening today. The era of playing around with AI in a theoretical sandbox is officially over.
The data they gathered from hospitality IT decision-makers and marketing leadership is definitive. 71% of professionals now view AI as genuinely transformative for the industry, not just a passing trend.
But the metric that really matters is capital allocation. 85% of organizations are committing at least 5% of their total IT budgets exclusively to AI tools this year alone.
Allocating 5% of a global hotel group's IT budget is a massive, definitive financial commitment. It proves that AI has transitioned from a theoretical talking point at conferences to a hard, undeniable line item on the P&L.
For leaders across the Australia and Pacific regions, this signals a mandatory paradigm shift. AI is no longer a future luxury or a nice-to-have gimmick for flagship properties.
It is a current, daily operational necessity. We are moving past basic website chatbots. We are talking about true operational execution.
Right. Predictive procurement engines that order F&B supplies based on historical occupancy and weather data, dynamic scheduling platforms that optimize housekeeping routes in real time, systems that automatically adjust in-room HVAC based on guest movement to drive down utility costs.
When you are facing the severe labor headwinds we just discussed, the move toward AI-driven efficiency is your only competitive advantage.
Eking out those margin points through automation is how you survive the 761 million arrivals.
Yeah, if you are not executing on an AI strategy right now, your operating costs are simply going to be too high to compete. But there is a hard limit to how much an algorithm can optimize a physical building.
At the end of the day, you still need exceptional human talent to interpret that data, manage the culture, and run the property.
Which brings us to our stars in motion for the week.
We have two pivotal leadership appointments to acknowledge. Mohammed Ashraf has officially taken the reins as the new head of engineering and security at Hyatt House South Melbourne.
In today's operating climate, where physical property security must seamlessly integrate with complex digital building management systems and advanced HVAC networks, overseeing both engineering and security is a deeply demanding, highly technical role.
It's fantastic to see him step into that position.
We also want to congratulate Mitchell Turner, who is stepping in as the new general manager at the Langham Sydney.
The Langham is an iconic, ultra-luxury asset in the Sydney market. Taking the helm there is a phenomenal career achievement.
It's appointments like these that firmly remind us of the human element at the absolute core of our business. As we watch AI optimize our back-of-house workflows and billion-dollar consortiums reshape our skylines, it ultimately falls to the general managers and directors on the ground to translate all that capital and technology into a genuine, intuitive, five-star guest experience.
It leaves you wondering, though. As these operational systems get more sophisticated and assume more of the predictive, data-heavy load, in 5 years, will the most important person in a luxury hotel be the general manager or the AI system they report to?
That wraps up this week's 5-Star Weekly Briefing. Thanks for tuning in and staying informed of the latest in the hotel industry.
Don't forget to check out our 5-Star Conversations podcast, where Brendan Granger from Technology for Hotels sits down with the industry's most influential leaders to uncover their journeys, insights, and the future of hospitality. It's a must-listen for anyone passionate about elevating their guest experience and driving innovation in the hotel world.
Until next time, stay well and stay ahead. See you next week.